What's up, YouTube? I want you all to get this straight. Nobody is manipulating and controlling my life. Not from afar, not while they're in my life, not while they're not in my life. I've never, ever wanted or did that to another person other than to keep kids safe. That is it. I am tired of seeing these psycho feminist women run around, destroy families, and turn it into a circus just so they can get away with what they've done. That is a demonic person. That person is no longer a human. Do you guys understand this? I don't give a shit if you're a female or a male. You all need to listen. Individually, you all will be judged for what you do. There is no escaping that. I don't care what your religion is. Besides that, us as humans, whether we're decent, we're kind of decent, as long as we're not hurting anyone, we have the right to say whatever's on our mind, protect us and our pursuit to happiness, especially when you're not doing that to somebody else. They don't have the right to pop into your life and paint a picture of something that's never taken place. They don't have the right to run around, stalk, harass, threaten, and all this crap. Then try to flip it and act like they were the victim, all because they get favored in court proceedings. I don't care what the community says. I don't care what courts say. I don't care what anybody says but God. And I hope you all know that. I also hope you all know that the moment they allowed Satanism as a religion, this world and anything holding any type of authority has just lost its power. Yes, that blindfold on Lady Justice was to blind the courts from lies and manipulations from the devil, not to allow his people to gain what they have gained. I can't believe you have people in this world that's like, yeah, Satanism is a religion. No, it is way worse than that. Just like Islam. I don't see how Islam is allowed to be a religion. So you can run around and just say that your religion is cannibalism or this or that, and oh, you're allowed to do those things because it's your religion? What? And these people have the right to mention the wars that went on in the past between evil bloodlines and good bloodlines. And they were clearly stated that this one was good because of this one was bad because of that. Now we have court systems protecting these evil deeds from these evil bloodlines. No wonder the world is getting darker and darker and darker. Not only that, these people talk like they're automatically right. No, you're not. You couldn't be more wrong. Why does it seem like everybody has taken over the gold digging feminist ideology? Whatever they say, they must be true or they wouldn't have said it. By that logic, everybody is telling the truth. This is insane. Real men, not the F boys. I'm talking to the real men. Stay away from these types of women. Run, dude. Well, the courts back them no matter what they do, even though everything with the courts shows that they are been a piece of shit their whole fucking life. Yeah, the only reason why Tiffany didn't get arrested or in trouble was because of me. And I don't know why she escaped it. I really don't. Because she was dead to rights. They knew she was lying and manipulating. They didn't know what for. I didn't know what for either. I started thinking about it and bringing up all the possibilities after I found out. And everybody acts like, oh, well, you didn't know, so she just took advantage of it. She was trying to take advantage of me. And yeah, I did find out that she was doing something. I wasn't quite sure on what or why. Probably because I was against her drinking. Probably because she was flirting with the neighbor in Lakeside. Oh, yeah, his mom thought that was the best thing and that I needed to keep my nose out of it. Do what? So you're telling me if a girl comes over and starts messing with your fiance, which is his stepdad, you're cool with that, right? No, this is that classic mama's baby bullshit. Yeah, I've seen it with plenty of mothers. Their their child could be a monster, a complete fucking monster, and they'll never admit it. Yeah, my brother, my sister, my nephew Brian, my nephew John, they are treated like that. No matter what they do, it's never that bad. Hence why they act the way they do now. Oh, bullshit. All my nephew John did was play baseball for Rising Sun fucking Tigers. Get the fuck out of here. That doesn't make him a saint. Yeah, I guess these girls knew that if they set things up right, that people would stereotype it a certain way. Yeah, just like the stickers on the back of a car when there's a lot of kids to the family. They always yell at the man, "Get off of her." What? And every one of those incidents that I've seen, listen to the words I use, it was the woman pushing that. And that is a fact. That's not stretching the truth. That is 100% straight fact. We also know that most women, when they're younger, do it backwards. Then the man gets the blame because he decided to do what she wanted. I said a man, not an F boy. Know the difference before you come at me with an argument. Okay? There is a huge difference. Not noticeable until after things go down. And every one of these women will try to paint those men, the real ones, as an F boy that was just there to ruin her life because she did not get what she wanted. That's it. It is a complete Uno reverse card move. It is deliberately taking all blame that she should be taking and putting it on the other person. It is using scenarios that the public or community, and I take this because social media, that's all they talk about when you bring up stuff is That's the first thing they say. You know, well, you shouldn't have done that. You should have left her alone. Why were you pushing her? 90% of the time, we are not the ones pushing any of that. We want to go to work. We don't want all that. I mean, eventually, maybe, but not back to back like that. That right there should prove to courts that they are baby trapping. They are setting up for a payday, and that's why they do it back to back like that. One, the guy's going to catch the rap for it. Two, he's the one responsible. All she has to do is act like a poor, defenseless mother, and she'll get whatever the fuck she wants. Why? Because they want to corrupt that kid, they want to corrupt that woman, and this is a way that they do it. It's basically the courts love bombing women to keep doing what they're doing. Why would they do that? Gee, I don't know. The CIA wanting to destroy nuclear families since what, the 40s, 50s? It's like they get pissed off at anything positive and want to destroy it. And they do it with a smile and a whisper. They know they can't make you do it, but they know they can put out laws to where once you understand how they benefit, you know, males and females, you can use it to your benefit. Laws are there to make sure people are not hurting other people that are innocent. Okay? They're not there to protect the criminal that is hurting people any which way they can. Like my situation. Me and Tiff broke up. I never bugged her. Nope. We got in arguments on text message because she would set it up for that. She knew it was coming. She knew exactly how to piss me off. She knew exactly what to do to get me, you know, saying stuff, especially after the kids passed and she kept pulling all the crazy shit she was pulling. Nobody paid attention to that no matter what, she was going after money. Her friends had their eyes on it. They were telling her and supposedly keeping it safe. Yeah, all females. Imagine that. Yep, all a part of this new group that she formed after she left here. Nobody paid attention to the fact that she deliberately put her kids in harm's way just so she could keep using the resources from them. Nobody paid attention to that. Really? The peace order was already planned way before we ever broke up. Why? Because it puts her on a list to where she can get housing quicker. This is why a lot of women will try to get a peace order or say they were abused or this, that, and the other because they get more help quicker from the state. Imagine that. Another little incentive to lie. Do you know what that does? Once the courts and people start making it against the law for these types of women to use the law like that, you lose that privilege. So now, women that do need safety after a relationship, because there are women that do, they're not going to get it. Because eventually they're going to take this away. And it's because of these types of women using it to cover their ass and get what they want without working for it, which is what I've been saying. And the reason why it falls on deaf ears is because everybody knows it's fucking true. They don't care. They want to paint this narrative that all men are bad and women should be the leaders and listened to. And we have already been shown every day since 2019 that that is a bad idea. We have planes landing upside down. We have helicopters not knowing their capabilities. And who's controlling them? Women. You have women putting on autopilot and crashing planes because they're idiots. Well, that's misogyny. No, it's not. I didn't say anything about ladies. These women is exactly who I'm talking about, and that's who they are. They are women. It's called identifying the individuals that do that. I can already hear people trying to interfere with it. I because I'm so used to Facebook and all that. As soon as you put something out here like this that is 100% the truth, oh, well, what about men? They do it too. Oh, what about this? All you're doing is diverting away from your gender, which shows that you most likely do that all the time. Because obviously, you don't want any attention to the fact that it is mainly third wave feminists. There's a reason why they call it third wave, and it ain't just because of the new generation. It's because they have stepped up their evil little deceitful game. They run around talking men into sleeping with them or trying to basically tempt them into lust and then act like it's all their fault. Even though this man will say no, this man will say, I don't want to be a part of that. This woman will turn up that dial as far as she can turn it to get what she wants. After she gets that, it will not be her fault. It'll be everybody else but her. Gee, where do we see this all the time? Women. The statistics that they tried to say, oh, well, this is why the wage gap is, was proven completely false. Nobody even cared about the delusional way of thinking that brought them to that conclusion. This is what I mean. This is how they think. This is what gets them in hot water. And what do they normally do? It's this person's fault. Oh, this person did it. Oh, that person made me do it. Like a child. Now that is childish. Childlike is way different. Well, why would you bring that up? Because that's what the Bible says. Childlike, not childish. That means you're supposed to be filled with joy in your heart. That's what it means. You perverted idiots. No, not that way either. Perverting as in perverting the words. And they say I'm stupid. I know all these people are going to think this shit. Even if you explain it to them, they'll still believe what they want. This is what I mean. If we're not in tribulation and these, fallen angels haven't been released, then what the hell is going on? Narcissism has increased like 80-fold. No medication can touch it. You have stuff like BPD, you have stuff like psychopaths and sociopaths fucking everywhere. They're even being hired into law enforcement and military because of their manipulation that they are capable of. That's a demon. That's the only thing that can have that type of control. See, back in the 60s or 40s through, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, probably even before that, people would have noticed how evil these things are, and they would have called them out. That's why a lot of these secret societies had to be secret, because these people would have tore them apart, and they knew it. They had to wait until they got strong and more of a reputation. Gee, I wonder how many good people's reputation they took to be able to be in the position they are. And what is everybody? run around thinking, oh, well, they're just too powerful. We have to follow them. No, you don't. Granted, us by ourselves in small groups probably wouldn't be able to do nothing to these people. Us in large groups, paying attention to what makes their little wheel run and deciding not to make it run is not against the law. There's nothing they can do other than make robots. You already see that robots will not be as efficient as we are. I mean, look at AI. It doesn't even understand English. You have to talk to a real person to get them to understand the details that you explain. You can explain it perfectly to a T, and AI assistants will still be like, well, sorry about your frustration, but, and then what they say has nothing to do with what you just spelled out. Really? That should be your first clue. Well, robots will be different. No, they won't. If that thing is able to screw up like that, and the same programming and thought process is in these things, it's going to happen like that. Probably more than you think. You know, kind of like the robot delivery things that, you know, don't take into consideration curbs or ditches or things like that. It doesn't think fast enough. Therefore, your creation is nowhere near as good as God's. And that's what you're being shown. You took fallen angel technology, tried to put it together to make your own creation. And it sucks. God did that in less than 7 days. And he spoke it into existence with vibrations. Why do you think everything reacts to vibrations? Y'all can't do that. You keep trying, but you can't do it. Why don't you stop trying to be God and just enjoy the planet before you destroy it? Oh, too late. Already almost there. I don't understand you all at all. You all know that this is not going to end well, and they don't care. They're still doing it. Okay, this is not a daredevil stunt. This is this is real life that you're playing with. This is why life is so terrible. And these people that are causing it think it's funny. They're enjoying it. Has anybody noticed how that demonic stuff has increased as well? Yeah, it's in our police stations, it's in our court systems, it's in our government, it's in our military, it's in the world leaders, it's in the ones that give them orders. We all know who they are. It's just literally insane. We supposedly have all these good people out here, but y'all just keep playing their game. You know, all the slaves under the monopoly board and all the lazy rich people sitting there collecting and playing their game while everybody else is, under the table being used. There are so many ways to fight this without even being physical. And y'all just will not use your brains. Y'all won't get out of your laziness. You keep thinking that I'm going to get what I want. That's all that matters. Until you get what you want, then you want something more. It just never stops. It's almost like the seven deadly sins are rampant right now. And people are just soaking it up. How do you all consider that fun or exciting? I don't. I mean, the same people that keep doing this wouldn't be out there testing the jaw strength of a shark. with their hand or body limb, even though that could be very exciting. Definitely get the adrenaline going. But why would most people not do that? Because they know what the end result's going to be eventually. Might not be today, might not be tomorrow. But one of those times, you're going to stick your hand in there and go to pull it back, and you're not going to have it. Or worse. Is that the shark's fault? No. You're the one that pulled that shark out of its element and started fucking with it for your own entertainment. So, same thing with these. You all are the ones that try to create these false realities. Then, when they blow up in your face, everybody else is the fault of it. No, you should have never done it in the beginning. Yeah, and people that talk to people like that are considered, enemies now. Oh yeah, that's not a friend giving you a hookup that, you should listen to. I mean, how is that any different than having your mechanic tell you that your brakes are bad and you shouldn't move your car or you might not stop? And you're like, you know what? You're right. I'll let you check them and make sure they're good. And he tells you, I already checked them and they are bad. They need to be replaced before you drive anywhere. Now, you could decide not to and take your chances. That would be playing with the shark. You could decide to be like, you know what? Even if this guy is trying to get me for work, maybe he's right. So that would mean he's not trying to get you for work, even though it is going to make him money. I mean, why would he pick a brake job? He's a mechanic. He can break anything on that car and be like, yeah, transmission's gone. Really? But he's going to choose to come out and tell you that brakes or rotors are bad, even though that's only going to be maybe a couple $100. Now, a transmission or an engine, shoot, that's a couple thousand. See what I mean? And yeah, that could be a manipulation tactic just to get a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. But of course, I was talking in the lines of, you know, this mechanic very well. They don't do that to people. That's one reason why they're your mechanic. And they tell you honestly that this is what is wrong with your car. And if you don't fix it, it can hurt you. Let's get all the other make believe stuff out of the way. Remember, y'all, this is a make believe scenario. It does happen a lot, but we're just using it as an example. Now, another example. It is mainly females that never check their oil because they never check the gas gauge. They never check the clearance they have on curbs before they turn, apparently. Oh, I think the whole time I've been driving, I have turned and rubbed one curve and never even hit my rim. I rubbed the outside of the sidewall of the tire. And I had somebody talking to me in the passenger seat, which did distract me a little bit, even though I wasn't looking at them. I was looking where I was going. But I turned a second too early and rubbed the inside of the curb. So I know how it happens, and I understand that it can be a complete miscalculation. But normally, I never make those miscalculations unless I'm being distracted. People know that, especially if they've been with me. And they will try to use that, which is a type of abuse. But of course, I'm playing victim and being a pussy if I mention what they did. Nope, it's saving you from other things that you just made yourself subject to, as in other judgments. Because you forget, if you don't answer for what you've done on this planet, things like that, that's when you end up going to your final judgment and not fixing any of that stuff that you did. What do you think that tells the man on your judgment day about your heart? That you don't care. This is why lukewarm Christians will be spewed out of his mouth. And yes, that means ones that have went to church on the Sabbath. That means ones that have done so much stuff for church and this and that and the other. Yep, even them will be cast away. There's a lot of them. He's not preaching about the churches and the Bible because, he just wants to be mean. Obviously, they did things, and he's telling them about themselves. He's trying to warn them, you need to get your stuff in order. And there were 7 churches that he spoke of, if I'm not mistaken. One of them was the Church of Philadelphia. What does that have to do? It has everything to do with religion today. That is where all these religions have branched and stemmed from. From that precise point in time till now. But it's cool, because individually, you all will be responsible for what you've done. Just like individually, I will be responsible for what I've chosen to do. And I'm not scared at all. I know I'm probably going to get yelled at for cussing, cigarettes, and smoking a little bit of weed. But I don't abuse it. I use it in moderation. And if anybody would pay attention, Bible says drunkenness is a sin. Overindulging. Imagine that. And if you look around, what happens when you start to overindulge in things? Bad things start happening, right? Or if you're with somebody that's overindulging in things, bad stuff will start to happen. And that's why. Well, when it's a two-person scenario, a lot of times the female will try to make the community and other people believe that it's all happening because of her man, not her. When really, it's because of her. Oh, I see it everywhere. Really? They're already demonic. They go after people because they want financial gain. Yeah. They don't care about the person. They care about what they have. This is why a lot of males will find a good job, go out and buy a decent car, sometimes extravagant. Now, granted, sometimes that is not for a woman, sometimes that is for them, but they know, even though their main purpose might not be to attract a woman, they know it will. Some of them, even though they're wealthy and, work their butts off, even though we're still not clear if that's good or not. Well, there's a lot of details that go along with that. It's not just, you know, this person has a lot of money. They must have worked very hard. Just like Elon. He has a lot of money. He hasn't worked very hard. He bought companies that were already going. Yeah. Did you see the dude on the video that was talking to him about his rockets, just like I did? And pretty funny. When I said what I said to him on X, a few weeks later, he was able to catch that rocket. Now, I wasn't on his grounds in front of him for a press conference or news thing, but the other guy was, and he made an observation that made Elon think and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do that to all of them." I should have thought about that, but right. Which, yes, that is very common for a smart person to overlook something like that. Kind of. It is very common to overlook small details that, yes, sometimes those small details can turn into a big problem. But this right here was not something he had ever even taken into consideration. And you can see it on his face. Just how his eyes and everything changes when he's, computing it in his brain. And you can see him doing that right on the camera. That's what I mean. These are other people's brains that have put all this together, and he paid them, but that's their baby, and he's just taking credit for it. Where'd he get all that money? Nobody's paid attention to that. We have $40 billion, 36 or 40 billion trillion dollars in debt. 36 of that was missing from the Pentagon for black projects. Wouldn't that be enough to give each of these people a couple $100 billion to go out and do whatever they wanted them to do? Does that pass off, a lot of these conspiracy theories about the stolen trunks from Tesla and all this other stuff? Yes. It makes it more blurry. That's why they do that. They find an evil person in their congregation that they can basically use as a lackey. And sometimes they agree to it, sometimes they don't. Yeah, a lot of times they are tricked. Kind of like the witness protection from Medea. How that guy was tricked. Nobody's that stupid. Yeah, well, the evil ones aren't that stupid either. They don't come out and tell you all that. Okay? You find out when the cops show up and your name's on everything and you think you did everything by the book. You come to find out that that's not the way it went. And you were set up to take the fall. This is what a lot of these women do, and they call it street. No, it's called fear because you don't want people to know what type of demon you are. You're demonic. You should not be allowed to make decisions in society.